Okay, so we're going to reread what we read yesterday. And remember, Tricia and Richie are going to have a berry picking contest, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's reread what we read yesterday.
There were so many things that I couldn't stand up about him. The worst was that he was always telling me that he could do just about everything better than I. But I can pick more blackberries than you can, he jeered at me one day. No, you can't. Cannot, can, he whispered. Not, I said louder. Can, he whispered so low that I could hardly hear him. Not, I screamed back. We both picked berries for most of the afternoon. Well, he upped and did it. He not only picked more berries than I, he set a record that wasn't even challenged for the next 10 years. You make me sick, Richard. Barber, I yelled at him. That's just a weird last name.
And it's kind of a different last name, is it?
Uh-huh. Then he smiled that smile that only a rotten redhead older brother could smile. I guess I would have to face it. He could run fastest. Face it. He could run the fastest, climb the highest, throw the farthest, sit the longest, get the dirtiest, burp the loudest, and spit the farthest. He had no equal. Certainly not me. And I'm 4 years older than you always have been, and always will be, he sneered.
Okay. How do you think Tricia is feeling at this point?
Like, maybe mad or sad.
Kind of
or
mad.
Upset.
Yeah, mad, sad, upset, all those good things. All right. So I just want to go back to this page just real quick. So yesterday when we read this for the first time, there wasn't a lot of expression. Today, you definitely changed that, right? I heard you saying things louder. I heard you whisper. I heard you scream over here. And that really helped us understand, like, that they're kind of arguing back and forth, and it helps us better understand how they're feeling and just the story in general. So you should be proud of yourself for that. All right, well, let's move on. Let's see what's going to happen here. We're going to just kind of walk through the next couple pages here. So before we start reading, we're going to walk through a couple pages, but I want to point out a couple things as we do that. First of all, what does it look like they're doing on this page? Like, what are you noticing?
That there's like this kind of plant that he doesn't like. And
Okay.
Maybe he's like allergic to it.
Okay, why do you say that?
Because his face.
Okay, he's making a really yucky face. Like, if you didn't like something, that's the face that I'd probably make.
No, that's allergic face I would do.
Oh, that's an allergic face,
yeah.
You think? Okay, so maybe he's allergic to it. That was a good thought. Do you know what this plant is called?
No.
It's a vegetable. It's called rhubarb. And people like to eat rhubarb. Like, rhubarb pie is really kind of popular. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
So, rhubarb. Can you find the word rhubarb on this page?
Yeah, point this.
Okay, I know. I just was putting my pencil here and I actually pointed right to it. So there's the word rhubarb. Okay, there's another thing that I want to talk about is yesterday we came across the word jeered.
Yes.
Right, that was a new speaker tag. That's kind of how someone says something. Today we're going to come across a word, another speaker tag that we don't see very often, and it's right here. It's cooed, and I'm going to tell you what that means, how to say that. So she's like, "Oh, Richie," I cooed as I stood next to the rhubarb bushes. So you're kind of saying it kind of like, "Oh, Richie," like kind of in like a soft kind of singy kind of voice. Like, you know how I'm kind of singing that, like, "Oh, Richie."
I can't do that.
You can't. Well, try it.
I
Just
know
like,
I can't.
"Oh, Richie."
I
Try it.
can't.
Just
like,
give it a try.
I never have a low voice.
Well, you can just, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be low. Just try it a little bit.
Oh, Richie.
Great. Yeah.
I'm
I like that you tried that. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to change your voice and try different things, isn't it? But that was nice.
I'm good for the whispered or screamed.
Yeah. Also, we're going to come across the word inspired on this page. It says, "Then an inspired thought comforted me like a fresh breeze on a hot summer day." An inspired thought. That's a new word, I'm sure, too. Have you heard that word before?
Yes.
Oh, you've heard that before? What do you think that means? An inspired thought comforted me.
Like a good thought came into your head.
Yes. Super. All right. That was great thinking. Your brain's really working today.
The animals don't even like the rhubarb.
Yeah, the animals. I noticed that too. They're all sticking their tongues out. That was a good observation. All right, let's go on to this page with all the animals and Richie making those horrible faces. Now, again, I'm seeing some conversation on this page. Do you see that?
Yes.
The characters are going to be talking back and forth. So we're going to have to kind of think about how they're going to be talking to each other. Now, just from what we know from the last couple of pages, do you think they're going to be talking nice to each other?
No.
Probably not. All right. There's a word in here that I want to talk about too. It says, don't, he hissed, looking smug. Have you ever heard that when someone looks smug?
No.
No. For someone, when they look smug, it looks like, they kind of look like, you know, I'm better than you. I can do this better than you, and I know it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I think I can run faster than you, I'll be like, yeah, I can run faster than you. Like, you know, like a smug look on my face, like I'm better than you. That's kind of a face that Richie's making. Probably isn't going to make Trisha too happy, is it? And also, there's another a way the author's describing how they're talking is he says that they said it furiously.
Mm-hmm.
Furiously. Can you find the word furiously on this page?
No.
No? Look towards the bottom part here. See if you can find it down there. There you go. Furiously. So I heard you say when I said there that the author said she says it furiously, and you said, ooh, like what does furiously mean?
Kind of like a scream but louder voice, kind of.
Oh, maybe, okay. Well, when you're furious about something, how are you feeling?
Like maybe like kind of like an upset
Yeah,
manner,
like
kind of.
furious is almost like worse than angry. So if she's going to say it furiously, we have to remember that when we're reading, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and the last thing I want to talk about on this page is kind of a strange phrase that we might not have heard before. Okay, they're talking about eating the rhubarb, and Tricia says, "Bet I can eat more of this raw rhubarb than you can without getting the puckers." Did you ever hear of getting the puckers?
No.
No, that's a new phrase for us. Getting the puckers means, have you ever eaten anything really sour, like a warhead or something?
I eat a warhead or kiwi, like the big chunks of it.
Okay. And you know how your mouth kind of just like starts to water and it kind of tightens up a little bit when you eat something sour?
No.
No, that's kind of what it means. Like if you eat something sour, getting the puckers means you kind of like purse your lips up like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, ooh, that was sour. So she said that I bet I can eat more without getting the puckers. So without kind of like tightening up her mouth and making it look like she doesn't like it. Okay, so getting the puckers. That's a new one. Okay, and there's another phrase that I want to talk about on this page, but I want to talk about the picture first. What do you notice on the picture?
He ate more rhubarb.
Why do you think he ate more rhubarb?
Because he's eating something that it looks like she got the peckers.
Oh, and she might have gotten the puckers? Okay, so yeah, and he's smiling, and it looks like he's still eating it, and yeah, she looks angry.
I would not eat anything raw.
No. Well, do you eat raw vegetables?
No.
You don't?
No.
Not carrots or anything?
No.
Really? Okay. So the phrase I want to talk about on here is, it says he was still eating with relish. Okay, so we notice that he was still eating. It says he was still eating with relish. Do you know what that means? Like, what would make sense there? He was still eating with relish.
I don't know.
It means that he was still, like, enjoying it. It looked like he was still happy and he was still enjoying eating it. So he was still eating. It didn't look like he was, like, full. It looked like he was upset. He was still eating it happily.
So apparently he does do everything better.
Apparently he does everything better. I like that. Okay. All right, well, let's see what's going to happen with this big rhubarb eating contest.
Something I could do that he couldn't. Then an imported thought came comfort. Then an inspired thought inferred. Comfort.
Try that again. You're doing. I like that you're thinking. I like you're trying different things. I can tell your brain's really working here. Just
comfort.
Do you know a word that starts like that?
No.
No. What about like
Computer.
Okay, so we know that beginning, right?
Fort. Comfort.
Okay, and then
Me. Comfort me.
okay, comforted me. Let's start. Let's try this again from right here.
Then an inspired thought
Comforted.
comforted me.
Let's finish that and we'll talk about what that means if you're not sure.
Comforting me. Like a fresh breeze on a hot summer day.
What does it mean to comfort somebody? Like when someone's feeling comforted?
Like kind of like you got a good idea or something.
Okay, well, then an inspired thought comforted me. It made her feel good. Like, it made her feel a little more relaxed and calm. Like, she got this really good thought. Let's see what her thought is. Let's read on and see what her thought is.
Oh, Richie, I coded as I stood next to...
Try that again. Oh, Richie, I... Cooed. Remember that was our new speaker tag? I cooed.
Cooed as I stood next to the rhubarb bushes. Do you like rhubarb? No, he said it. It's the sourest. I can say it, but I can't get it all the way.
You can get it out. You're close. Try it again.
It's the It's the sourest stuff on this planet.
All right, so it's the sourest stuff on this planet. So that sounds like, is that something that you would like to eat maybe?
Yes.
You would you?
I like sour stuff.
It sounds like Trisha's challenging him. Let's see.
No, now I knew at long last that I had him. I had him. Bet I can eat more of this raw rhubarb with you than you can without getting the prickers.
Try it again.
Bet I can eat more of this raw rhubarb than you can without getting the prickers.
one of our new words that we were talking about in that new phrase?
Sucker. Peckers. Peckers.
Puckers.
Puckers.
Okay.
I was thinking that, then I changed it.
Okay.
Puckers. I challenged. I don't think so. I do. I don't. He said, narrowing his eyes.
Try it again.
Narrowing his eyes. I do. I instead don't, he hissed, looking smudge. Do, I said furiously as I grabbed the first stick and started chewing it almost down to the leaf.
Okay. Is there something that didn't make sense there that you read, do you think?
Here, like somewhere in there.
Okay, try that again.
Do, I said furiously as I grabbed the first right there.
Okay, cool, try it.
Stick.
Think of a word that you know that looks like that.
Talk.
Okay, try it.
Stock.
Yes, your brain
and
is thinking.
Started chewing it almost down to the leaf.
Excellent. That was great thinking. What part do you think is the stalk?
Like right here.
Okay, exactly. Yep. Good. So this might be something that Trisha can actually beat him at.
No.
You don't think so?
No, because right there, this face when we flip to it.
I know this makes us think that maybe not, but let's see if this is something that she can beat him at.
When I couldn't get one more sour bite into my mouth, he was still eating with relish. I thought you said you don't like rhubarb. I said pressured lips. I don't like it. I love it. He enchanted.
Try that again.
Announced.
Does that make more sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Announced as the puppet the last stalk into his mouth.
Okay, let's go back here and try this again from here.
I don't like it. I love it, he announced as he popped the last stalk into his mouth.
Okay, so he tricked Trisha, didn't he? He said he didn't like rhubarb, but how did he trick her?
He
loved it. So Trisha, I wonder how she's gonna feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop here, but I want to go back to this right here. And this is something that I probably should have told you about before we started reading, because this is something that we don't hear very often either. I thought you said you don't like rhubarb. I said through pursed lips. Now, when someone says something through pursed lips, they're kind of like, I thought you didn't like rhubarb. Like, they're so angry when they talk.
I do that to my brother a lot.
Do you? So you talk through pursed lips. That's what that means.
Not like sour stuff like I did, like jalapenos and stuff.
Okay. So she was talking through pursed lips like that. So let's go back. There was 2 words in here that I heard you do something so neat. there had to be something. Something. Why'd you say that so loud?
Because it was all bold
It was-
and uppercase.
It was all uppercase, and that's what readers do. When they see a word that's in capitals like that, uppercase letters, they say it louder, and that really, like...
I should have did it louder because it was all bold.
Oh, no, I think you said it plenty loud, and then you said, I don't like it, I love it. You said that a little bit louder, too. So that was great. I could tell that you were thinking about using expression in that part.
Even the I was uppercase.
Okay. We're going to go back. Let's see. So yesterday and today, we've come across a couple words that we've had a hard time kind of saying those words. They kind of are tricky words, right? Like the word puckers. That was a new word. But when we get to that word, it's always helpful to think about, like, oh, what would make sense there is the first thing I want to say. But if it's a new word, sometimes that doesn't work. So we want to think, like, what word do I know that looks like that? And right away, you knew the word sucker. If I know sucker, I can just change that S to a P and say pucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Or like comforted. That might have been a word that you haven't seen in a book before. But if I know that beginning computer, I know the word fort. And when you have an ED ending, comforted, you're going to add just that ED ending if you know the other parts of that word, right? I want to say one more thing about that ED ending, because sometimes, like comforted, it sounds like id at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if I look at this word right here, I don't like it, I love it, he announced as he popped the last stalk into his mouth. Now that has an ED ending, but does that say
Odd.
id?
It says odd.
It just says d, right? So something like popped, or sound like a T sound, popped. But I'm not going to say popped, right? So we have to be careful of that, what would make sense. In comforted, that id sound makes sense. In popped, that ed doesn't say id, it just says popped. Sometimes it sounds like a T, like a T, sometimes like a D, like pursed sounds like a T, that sounds like a T, but we don't want to say popped. Right? When we said ed ending, it's not always the id sound. We have to see what would make sense there. So popped didn't make sense, but you, using your brain as you were doing, went back and you said popped, and you changed it to popped then. So that was good. Why did you change it?
Because it did not make sense.
It didn't make sense. And readers read to make sense, right? They want to understand the story. So, super. Well, I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I want to know if Trisha is going to find something that she's better at she's better at than Richie. How about you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to pick up on Monday and see what happens. Nice job.